Yeah. Excuse me. I don't know if I said this in a previous video or not, but years and years ago, when I first started out going back to church and reading more of the scriptures and everything, I was given verses to songs and lyrics to songs, music in my head, excuse me, and poetry, little writings, just little, kind of like little notes, sort of. I don't know what you would call it exactly. But anyways, and I've been getting things like that for years and years, even when I was younger and everything, because I wanted to be a writer, and I would do poetry and short stories and stories, and in my more rebellious years, I wrote things more of the world, and I still have some of them actually, but it just shows the progression of how I've changed. And anyways, I had a couple of I don't know what, musings, some words, and not really poetry, not really a short story that was given to me. And I never really thought a lot. I mean, I did kind of think about what was written, but I didn't think really, really closely about it. But as I uncovered a lot of these things again and I read them again, they were kind of foretelling in a way of some things of how people have become corrupted and people have become very vile and wicked and just not really nice, and reminding me a lot of the things that a different wording though of some of what it tells in the last days people are going to be like, and some of the things that they'll do. So this is a little different than I usually do, but I'm going to share with you this, and you can tell me what you think. And it does paint kind of a dark picture of how the world is right now. And if it's a little much for you, go ahead and stop the video and don't watch anymore if it's something you can't handle. Sometimes you have to say of the wickedness and what it is and call it out for what it is. And this is what was given to me before, years ago, in 2013 actually. So it was already kind of going on. Who knows, it may have pretty much been going on then, but it's really bad now compared to what it was then. But it's been headed that way for a long time actually, and it's all part of God's plan. And he saw long ago what was going to happen and the way that people were going to be, and he gives the message of what is going on and what to tell the people differently to different people. And this is one of the ways he told me, using how I already kind of wrote and did poetry and things like that. And so that's what came out. Not necessarily that I would particularly write it with those words maybe now. I don't know, I might. They're not really bad. They're just, you know that they're talking about wickedness when the words that I use. So anyways, this is part of the musings that were in 2013, and it goes, Just bear with me, please. Petulant vermin, of which this world holds dear, gather round to hear this clear. All the craziness and filth of days unfold, tearing down the vileness of drunken deceit. Bubbling bowels of coagulated blood rise and writhe with love's disdain. Venomous bile creeps forth to overshadow and consume that which your pride hath wrought. No one understands the vicious hound you have become since tasting that pure-born blood. Decrepit and seeking of revenge, at the once pure at heart shall commit an atrocity so vile as to shake heaven from its core. The angels in the heavens shall cry tears of blood for the act of desolation upon thine own. Harbinger of death brings forth the scythe of hell to claim once more thy beastly howl. Beast within transforms again, leaving a shell drenched in black blood. A lonesome and forlorn cry utters from its lips, saying nevermore. Everybody knows what vermin is. It's like rats and scurrying little things. Okay. And if you really listen to what the words are, it pretty much kind of explains itself. And it kind of reminds me of what's going on right now in politics, honestly, to tell you the truth. And because you have one side that they're not perfect either, but they're not going off the deep end like the other side is right now. And it's either that kind of, well, it's not even really that middle ground anymore so much. You have people that are there in the middle ground, but yet they're kind of steering either to one side or the other. They're either really going all out crazy and spewing vile hatred and venomous things at everybody and just total lack of love or compassion toward anybody, or they're over on in the middle and going toward the other side, wondering what the heck is happening with people. Why are they being this way? Why is everybody so hateful? You know, all you do is ask a question. They're like, you know, and when you say anything to them, and it's like, don't look at them sideways. Don't even breathe in their way or something, or they're going to go crazy on you. This is what the world's come to. And this is exactly what what is being talked about. And definitely we don't need to be part of that. Okay. It's really hard, especially where I'm at, to go out, even going to the corner store and not seeing some vile, filthy thing, or hearing some obscenity a lot of times coming out of a little child's mouth because they heard their mother or something saying it, or heard somebody down the street that they look up to saying it. I don't even know anymore. I've even heard kids, I kid you not, talking about capping somebody. Like putting a cap in somebody. They're talking like they're gonna kill somebody. Okay? They're saying stuff like that. And these kids, they can't be more than 10 years old. Okay? And I'm thinking, wow. I mean, my kids didn't dare say that in front of me. Now, I don't know what they did when they weren't around me. I should hope and pray they didn't do anything like that. Most of the time, I think actually they didn't. And many of their friends would come by, you know, when they would come by the house, excuse me, or something, and they were like, my kids could say just about anything or everything to me, and I'd explain to them. I wouldn't get mad about them asking a question or something. I explained to them, and I was very nice about it. And then I'd offer something to their friend or whatever, even if I had to, whatever I had for my kid, to kind of like divide it so that could have some for the friend too, so the friend didn't get left out, things like that. That's just what I did, and if I would always make extra food a lot of times, so that in case one of them would bring a kid over to eat, there was food that person could eat too. Or I would just, if I got somebody drop in at the last moment, then whatever we had, we would divide it up and I would give, so there was another portion, I did that many times actually. And it was almost a regular thing at our house, actually. If it wasn't the kids bringing over someone that they wanted to stay the night last minute, they would ask or something, or bring somebody over to eat or whatever, or played a little later and needed to eat or something like that. Or that kid would eat there and then probably ate when they went home too, for all I know. I don't know. Or my husband at the time maybe wanted some more, or even the kids wanted some more. Sometimes we didn't have but just a little amount, and I always made my plate last. I would do all the kids, and I would do my husband's, and then I would do my plate. Well, if they had all eaten and I was getting ready to make my plate, but they still wanted some more, whatever I had for my portion, I would take part of that to give to the kid that still wanted to eat more because they were hungry, or to my husband or something, that's what I did because they were still hungry, and I just ate a little less. It happened. It happened quite a lot, actually. But I never was upset about it or anything. It's just that was, to me, was part of being a mother too, that sometimes you had to improvise, you had to adjust things so that your family was taken care of and given what they needed, even if it wasn't much. My mom did that for us. So, it was just normal for me to do that. I thought that was part of what you're supposed to do. Many people I know probably didn't do that. And I heard some kind of horror stories from some of the kids of different things that their parents didn't. Now, I don't know if they were absolutely 100% true or they were exaggerating. I don't know. But from what I gather, some of the ones that I did meet, yeah, they were actually kind of like that. So I figure I'd give you that little musing there, and it kind of paints a picture of actually what is going on today with the down, how society has kind of went backwards and gotten very corrupt and very one-minded, more me. That's how their mentality is. And don't talk to me. Don't say nothing to me. You don't have no right. This. They've gotten mean. And this was basically kind of like, even though it was odd a little bit on the wording and how it was given to me, but it really was a foretelling of what was coming and what was coming up then. So any insight or comment or anything about my crazy musings, just go ahead and leave it down in the comment section below, and God bless.